Live long and prosper.
Can do this though.
Live long and prosper.
Hey.
Live long and Tuesday.
And welcome to the Review Tuesday. My name's Ruben.
I'm Kay.
And today we are reviewing Portal, or Doors, depending on where you are in the world. Let us know in the comments, have you heard about this film? I'm eager to talk about it. It's an interesting one. We're going to do our review, and then we're going to talk about spoilers and the ending at the end of the review. So we'll give you a warning, but for now it's just non-spoiler.
When a number of mysterious alien doors appear suddenly around the globe, individuals from all walks of life must come together to discover what these doors are, where they lead, and if we can or should attempt to cross to the other side. Don't you open that trap door.
Because there's something
down there. It's broken up into 3 sections. 3, 4?
3 with the
3
fourth,
and an epilogue.
with the 4th intertwining in between.
And at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first is called Lockdown. The second is called Knockers. The third is called Jamal. And the fourth is Interstitial. I'm amazed I remembered all that.
Me too.
So Lockdown, it actually follows a fairly chronological order, this film, even though it is one of those films that kind of leave you going, what the? A lot of the time.
And then?
But it starts off kind of at the beginning when whatever it is happens, and it's sort of the initial, like literally the first few minutes after these doors have appeared around the planet.
And the government do what they're going to do, and they're trying to figure out things, and they make mistakes, and they're sending people or volunteers into the doors. We get to the second one where we get a more romantic, it starts off more romantic storyline, and then it goes more horror, and then we get to a third one which is more science fiction-y. It reminded me a lot of Close Encounters and Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey. In fact, the whole thing reminds you a little bit of that. It definitely pulls from threads from various science fiction, even time travel films. I was remembering Primer, a very indie time travel film, and it feels similar. It has a great atmosphere that you're always going, what's going to happen next? Who's going to do who's going to figure out what they're actually about? Yeah. And even when you start getting answers, you're still going,
what?
and then it finishes up and it completely breaks the rules it's set up with. And so then you're going, and then it is a quite frustrating film, and it is an ambiguous ending.
Yes, I think they've left it like that on purpose so that lots of discussion can happen. And if you break it down, which we will do at the end, you can sort of make sense of everything that's happened in the film, but it's still ambiguous enough that you can argue.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
I think the filming is great. It's obviously each of them have their own styles because it's directed by 3 or 4 different directors, and then we've had one editor or a couple of editors come together and thread it together to make it a sort of coherent storyline if you're really paying attention. I've seen it twice, and the second time through I was picking up things that I missed the first time. I was going to review it by myself, but I thought, no, I need my wife, because this is one of those films where you get a different perspective and you'll see different things, which is always very interesting when watching these type of films. The score is interesting.
It is. At one point I had to put my fingers in my ears.
They like using tones, much like Tenet. Not to the detriment where it's so loud you can't hear what they're saying, but there is a hell of a lot of bass. Very, very cool sounds, the sort of deep sound that will resonate with your skin or maybe make your hair stand up, or your teeth. But it's almost like a language, which I thought was very, very clever. It does add a level of atmosphere because you're always going, well, what's going on there? Why is it making that noise? Yeah. What's that mean?
Yeah. I mean, I also loved the sort of sciencey things that they did for special effects, like the iron filings with a magnet. Yeah. For the doorway entity.
The doorways. I mean, the designs from what we saw from the doorways, each seemed to be different and unique, but also had a similar feel to them. They're very cool. I like the idea of them because we don't know if we ever had an entity come and visit us. We don't know what it would look like, and I think it would be a little bit stupid to think that they were
Arrogant.
just arrogant. Just didn't think they would look similar, or humanoid, or anything.
A life form could be based on any element. not
Exactly.
just
So
carbon.
this one kind of
So
takes that idea and says, well, here, this is something unique and different. So let us know in the comments what you thought about this film when you get to see it. Are you excited
Yeah.
to see it? We're going to talk spoilers now. So I'm going to give my kind of rating. I'm going to give it a yearbo.
a yarnier.
No, a yearbo.
What's a yebble?
Yes, that means yes.
That does mean yes.
2 thumbs
I know.
up. Yearbo.
Yeah, boy.
Good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a yes/no.
A yes, no.
A yarnier.
Because you're not sure.
Because I'm not sure. I enjoyed it, but I have enough questions that I'm slightly frustrated. I do think it reminded me a lot of Interstellar, and also the one where the world curves. Which one's that with the spinny top?
Oh, Inception.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The sort of the way.
Both Christopher Nolan films.
Oh yeah, you have to keep questioning. You have to keep, oh well, I suppose Tenet as well.
Yeah. With the sound.
So yes, no.
Yes, no. Okay. So this is the spoiler bit, so we're going to talk spoilers now. You have been...
So lockdown is obviously your first encounter with the aliens, doors, entities, whatever you want to call them. And I definitely felt the kind of the way that they were making them seem was that that they were not
Friendly?
Yeah, I was going to go for beneficent, but I'm not entirely sure what that word means. The opposite of benevolent. Yes.
Yeah.
So they were. Oh God, help me.
Non-friendly.
Yeah, I'll get there.
Okay.
So they were not friendly, and in fact they were aggressive, actively violent, because when the children walk out into the corridor, it looks like there's been scenes of a struggle. They almost looked like there was like bits of blood on the floor.
Yeah, that was weird.
It kind of really looked like something really bad and really major had happened. And so obviously when they were approaching this entity, it was speaking to the protagonist.
And it seemed to feed off emotions. It definitely locked onto Ash.
Yes.
And Ash seemed to be able to... it was feeding off the entity, almost like the entity would say, do this, push, and then Ash pushed.
Yeah.
And so there's definitely an emotional connection, especially with that door. And it was interesting to see how the door basically ended up getting all the kids.
Yeah.
Which I felt like that's what it wanted.
Yeah.
Like, come closer, come into me. And so that was our first interaction. And so the ending of that led you to think, oh, we might see them. I actually thought the story was going to continue with them.
Inside the portal.
Yeah.
At the door or the whatever.
But you don't. So as far as we know, those kids are dead.
Yeah.
Or they're under psychosis and living in some strange version of Earth, like an alternate reality. Because that's what it seems to be.
Yeah.
So the second story is the...
Knockers.
So we get the couple, we get the Trekkie. With the phaser, not phaser gun.
Yeah.
And she does her
like
little
that.
poem about rocks in the ocean. And that comes into play at the end when she chooses to be
The ocean.
the ocean.
Rather
So
than a rock.
you can correct us if we're wrong, but she shot her husband.
Yeah. She chose to shoot her husband and stay in her psychosis, fantasy, whatever.
And the third guy, I don't know if you caught it. I only caught it the second time round. I was saying to Cray earlier that there's a tattoo of a rose. And if you catch that earlier, it gives you a little bit of more insights. Like, oh, okay, everything inside this door is like a memory recreated but shaped to the will of the entity.
Yeah.
And so it's willing you to stay. So eventually that one guy gets the rose petals. It's somehow touched him in his groin or through his groin or something. And then it broke the suit, and then the stuff was in it. And then he died basically there with the past of that woman that he said, I told you not to take these. And she obviously overdosed or something.
Yeah.
Some sort of dark.
So there's a history there.
Yeah, and then with the couple was their pregnancy, and he forced her, and and so she's like, no, I'm staying in here, living in this entity. So it does seem like the entity's goal is to get you to stay inside.
I guess, yeah.
Then we have the third one, which was my favorite.
Yeah, oh, totally, hands down, my favorite as well, Jamal. Yeah.
Very interesting, very close encounters. You know, that first with the beeps and trying to get to communicate.
Yeah, what's that one with Jodie Foster? It was like that as well.
Contact.
Arrival? Oh, no, I was thinking of Arrival. That's not Jodie Foster, is it?
No. Yeah, so, let's not talk about Contact.
No, not context. I meant Arrival.
Yeah, Arrival was great.
Yeah.
So they make contact. They start talking. He gets a friend. The friend calls a cop. Well, he's the friend's friend. The friend's boyfriend.
Very unbelievable boyfriend.
Yeah, which is like, what?
What?
I don't believe
Why
them
is
together
she
at
with
all.
him?
She's this really smart scientist. Yeah, so besides the not believing that they were together, stuff goes down. She whacks him over the head, and Jamal's Jamal, what's it called?
Lamage.
Lamage does something, and then the cop dies. We think.
Yeah. And then says it's time to be refreshed.
Yes.
So what is this refreshing? Because it looked an awful lot like the end of the world.
It did, because the satellites were falling from the sky, and it's like it feels like time to hit the reset button. That's what I understood refreshed to mean, in my understanding. And if you might not gather that completely by that point, but then we have another story where it finishes the kind of the radio podcast that we were getting. We get a video, almost like Zoom interview with this really creepy dude we thought might
he was
be
fantastic.
high, but he was fantastic. He was excellent. But the refresh comes up there again as well.
Yeah, that's where it sort of throws its own rules out, because the guy said he hasn't been into a door, he hasn't been communicating with the door, but he can feel the door. He can feel what it wants. It sort of communicates by feeling to him. And so when towards the end of the interview, when he's speaking, he is speaking as though he is the door.
Yeah. But also the actual interviewer, he has had no contact with the door. Suddenly the lights start flickering and he's experiencing something, and he's not gone through any door. So what the hell, man? Can you be affected through technology just by speaking to that person who was feeling the same thing? Or did it rush over with some sort of its presence, and there's their door upstairs? Because it did seem like we had that really beginning interesting moment right at the beginning where the person in their underwear is walking up into the darkness and there's narration. And then we finish with the guy kind of in his underwear walking into the darkness.
I didn't catch that at all.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even see the first guy. How did I not see that?
I don't know.
I don't know. So there was a moment where I didn't buy that half of the world's population had somehow ended up inside a doorway.
Yeah, because they said there were only 1 million doors and half the world's population is about 4 billion. So.
Yeah, so I was like, if I was in that situation and I saw someone go too near it or touch it and get sucked into it, everybody else backs away.
Yes,
I don't see how 4 billion people are going to accidentally
because
go
it messes with your minds. We saw it even inside the classroom with the kids. It was hearing the voice of the thing.
It's Ash, you mean?
Yeah, Ash.
Ash was hearing.
Yeah.
Okay,
so if
maybe.
that's how it communicates, then maybe it's just saying, come to me. Those with weaker minds that aren't as strong were being sucked in.
Or was it the other way round?
Nah. Those who are more open to
Other
entities.
things.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's a very ambiguous ending. There's a lot to discuss there. Let us know your theories down below. Let us know what you think. If Jamal was good, was it resetting Earth? Was Earth about to be destroyed and it was trying to save a portion, half, like Thanos? Maybe it's just a Thanos thing, because it's half,
Maybe,
right?
yeah. I mean, so maybe all the people who went into the doors, once the Earth has been refreshed, they'll be let out.
Yeah.
And,
And it's
like an arc.
A new type of reality.
It
could be an arc, yeah.
Yeah.
So as you can see, who knows?
Yeah.
Chat to us in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this. But most of all, until next time, remember,
Live long and Tuesday.